Before I begin this video, I want to say a few things about the future for this channel. I'm trying to get weekly videos done, but I can't always get them out on time, so thank you for dealing with it. I'm still going to try to work hard, though. I'd also like to say that in this documentary-like video, I won't have any music in the background. I want you to tell me if it's better with music or without it in the comments down below. And finally, I was thinking about having a second channel where all my documentary videos would be uploaded. That way I have this channel exclusive to gaming, and if I do end up doing that, what should the name be? And now this will affect my close to non-existent upload schedule because of me working on these videos. And just a few things about the video. In this video, I cover the controversial topic that is reality shifting, and it may become slightly disturbing for some audience, so I'd also say things that are 13 plus audiences, so if you think you can't handle that, that's fine. But if you can't handle it, please click off the video now. One more thing, please do not send hate to anyone I bring up in this video. They can believe what they want as long as it doesn't affect you. And finally, this video is made purely for both informative and entertainment purposes, and so I guess let's move on to the video. Reality shifting. Now, reality shifting is a recent trend that shot up in popularity from what I've seen in late 2020. This will likely be the most controversial video I will ever make in my life. Let me explain to you what reality shifting is if you don't already know. Reality shifting is the idea that you can travel between parallel dimensions. Parallel dimension derives from the infinite Earth/multiverse theory, where any action made and anything that can ever happen creates a different dimension. So these dimensions can range from you had a bagel of Doritos this morning, rather than a bagel, to you are the president of the world. Very drastic, I know. But recently, on TikTok, a few TikTokers have said that through the power of meditation and lucid dreaming, you can travel between these dimensions. Picture this if you can. You're sitting in the middle of your bedroom floor. You begin to doze off, and all of a sudden you wake up again. Everything seems to be the same. So you walk through the door, and you notice, per se, that you're actually in a dorm at college. And turns out you're the smartest person alive. You've just traveled to a parallel dimension. Supposedly, of course, and if you do the same thing and get back into the virus-infected world we currently inhabit, nobody will believe that you went to this unique place. What you just supposedly did is what TikTokers are swearing they did, but rather to a place within possibility, a place where the laws of physics and quantum mechanics are not bound. These TikTokers say that they were able to make it to dimensions such as Harry Potter or the Marvel Universe, and sometimes even as drastic as anime such as My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan. If someone told you that it's possible to go to any fictional world that you desire, all you have to do is be calm, would you believe them? But I think I should clear some things up. Any decision or action that is made creates a parallel dimension. And that's why dimensions like Harry Potter aren't possible, because in a parallel dimension, J.K. Rowling never wrote Harry Potter franchise, or never existed, or never even wrote books, period. So how could a dimension of something that never was made exist? And that's not all, no matter what you do, even if you go to a completely different dimension. As I said, for the laws of physics still apply, so magic isn't possible. Sorry, Potterheads. And also, if you'd want to shift to a superhero world, while based in reality, still probably not possible. All magic users, as I said, won't work. Heroes like Batman and Iron Man are possible, though in fact for a while we had a superhero like that in real life in this dimension, known as Phoenix Jones. I won't get into him because he can be a video on his own, he was a mess. I'll just leave you this video by Atrocity Guide in the description. But sadly, that's the closest we'll likely ever get to a real-life superhero. You may think, well, Shadow, you're just saying that because if there are infinite worlds and universes, then that's what's to say that Harry Potter or DC isn't real. Theoretically, you could travel to a dimension with different rules. Yes, that is a fair thing to say, but as I said, everything is within law, because if you are If you were to be in a dimension with a different physics than the flip, not only would your body immediately collapse, your mind would run haywire and likely kill you, due to your mind not being able to comprehend what's happening. Which leads me to my next point, death. If you can transfer between dimensions, there is a very, very high possibility you will travel to a dimension where you were never born or died. Well, if you tried to travel yourself to a dead body, you can't, or you'd be stuck there. Stuck in a dead corpse. Or if you were to never exist, then think about it. A dimension that doesn't exist to you, if you tried to subconsciously transfer into a body that isn't yours, your mind would eradicate, vaporize, cease to exist. So what would happen to your body in the main reality? Here, I'll tell you. Nothing! You want to know why? It's because if you had the ability to transfer between bodies, your body in this dimension would just collapse and lay down, unable to move, lack of breathing. Meaning that if you were able to travel even once for more than a few minutes, you would immediately die due to suffocation. Or would you, from a different reality, the reality that you're traveling to, take over? As the other one else said, it just doesn't really make much sense on how it could happen.
If you believe you can hop into different realities, then that's great and I see no problem with it. Is what I would say in a different reality, but in this reality, I have a lot of questions. If you can shift your consciousness into a different version of you, what happens to the alternate reality you's consciousness? You're just taking over someone else's body. This other you had a life and a family, unless you're going to a YA fantasy novel, and you just took over their whole body. What if there's a you in an alternate reality that's like, I want to live in a reality where there's a pandemic and I'm sadder? And then they shifted here. What happens to your consciousness? You don't trade. The reality shifting community says that when you shift, you leave behind a clone of yourself. Obviously. So when you shift, there's someone's consciousness unaccounted for. What about...
And no matter what you do, you'll always end up killing at least one person. Or, in the multiple people case, you just put yourself into a situation where you can't do anything to defend yourself if your hypothetical big brother walked in and, say, punched you in the face. You are now not only knocked out, you are not breathing, not moving, and have a bloody nose, and when you return to your reality, you'll likely be dead. You can't do anything according to the community, you create a clone. So how is that we cloned a sheep that didn't last very long, and we've been studying that for years prior? How is it that just magically, not only do we know how to clone a human, we can do it magically and quickly without dying, especially to the Commonwealth? TikTokers who seem to have claimed to have been able to shift between realities have also said things that don't make laws of physics can be ignored, while at the same time talking about how certain things and ideas are too outlandish to be done. Here, look at this interview of Anthony Padilla talking to a TikToker who says that something is too outlandish while contradicting herself earlier in the exact same video.
Can you recognize when someone is faking that they can reality shift?
Definitely. There are some stories and I'm like, no, Hermione did not just get up and start twerking when she got a question right. Are you for real?
But, I mean, that does beg the question, if the universe really is infinite and there are infinite realities, doesn't that imply that that is a reality that does exist there?
It is a reality, but I highly doubt that they went to a reality where Hermione is twerking.
But, I mean, how could you discount someone for having that experience when the discussion was just about how everyone has their own reality and it's impossible to know if someone's reality was real or not because it's impossible to prove?
If you allow things that are really far-fetched to just fester, it discredits everything.
But the concept of reality shifting in general is pretty far-fetched, as
yeah, it is pretty far-fetched. But compared to some of the things I hear, it sounds like some facts.
The whole concept in general is saying that anything is possible. Don't judge people for what they experience. So it does seem kind of like it's like, where is the line drawn?
I know when we say like shifting realities, you can go anywhere, do anything. Your imagination is literally the limit. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to say that some of the things that happen in this reality, and some of the rules and the laws follow no matter where we go.
I'm sure that's just as up for debate as the concept of reality shifting in general.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So as I said, in this video, she says that she's traveled to My Hero Academia's world and has infinite money and has the quirk of not getting fat. But if she has infinite money, then she's getting it somehow, and in the world where villains run wild with some of the worst things possible, you are either one of two things, dead or kidnapped. At the same time, having infinite money, which isn't possible because according to my friends, you can only have one quirk at a time. Or just one quirk. So it doesn't make much sense. On this Anthony Padilla video, there are two main comments I want to point out. This one comment says, "I tried and it didn't work, sad face." So someone responds to them, and rather than saying something on what they may have gone wrong, or what they could do to like make it better or straighten up everything, they just straight up say that they aren't trying hard enough, when clearly this person is based off the sad face alone, showing that they really did want to transfer between realities. And why would they not try hard enough if they want to change? Sometimes it just amazes me that people can be so ignorant. The other comment I'd like to point out is this one, about their experiences with lucid dreaming, where basically she says that her experiences with lucid dreaming don't always have her in control, but she subconsciously created the entire world itself, including language, culture, and music, which just further cements the fact that more likely these people who claim to have shifted and have shifted to a lucid dream, that they are subconsciously controlling, not a parallel dimension. In this same Anthony Padilla video, one of the women say that they don't condone minor shifting, and to keep something you can only have here.
Wanting to stay in your altered state forever?
Oh yeah, and that's one of the reasons I'm so hesitant to condone minor shifting, especially if you're trying to escape from something here, because shifting is a form of escapism. If you're in a horrible situation here and you go over there and it's just euphoric, it's all fun and games, yeah, you're gonna want to stay.
It sounds like in many ways it kind of runs parallel with substance abuse.
It can be very hard not to get severely attached to that. And I would recommend keeping something here that you can only have here, so that you don't feel the need to stay there.
Except, if I need to take something I can only have at this bloody place, then I'm not in the situation of power, or just more power than I have now, but rather less. Let me explain. If we say that you're the owner of a big tech corporation in Earth 2, assuming that we're in Earth 1, that's a dimension you may want to visit, but everything you can get, you can definitely still get in Earth 2. What would you leave in Earth 1? Your family? You still have that. Games/consoles? You most certainly can get that on Earth 2. A pet, maybe? Your family would likely still get the same pet, or if they didn't, you could always just buy the exact same pet, speaking that nothing would have changed. You can get in this dimension, if anything, you can get more stuff in Earth 2 than you can get in Earth 1. I do indeed believe that parallel dimensions are real, and I'm sure that in the future we may be able to travel between them in some way. But parallel dimensions is a lot like our own. It's based in reality and has the laws of science still apply. Sadly, meaning you can't flirt with a bunch of magical British boys. I mean, so that's why you can't go to anime universes. But with that, I'm gonna sign off. Please subscribe to the channel. And this video alone took 2 days to finish, so it'd be great if you could show your support. That would be amazing. For my channel shout out for today, I'd like to tell you about Snake. Snake the Snake. Yes, it's spelled with the C. He's a member of Enchanted Kingdom, but that's not all. He's also been working his ass off trying to get certain videos done, as he has his Digimon Chrono Adventure series. I highly encourage you to go check out his channel. If you don't, then you're missing out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice rest of your day.